The first time I ever went to the Living Legends dinner in Beverly Hills, there was a table sitting in the middle of the room, and at that table was you, Bob Hoover, Neil Armstrong, Jim Lovell, and Harrison Ford.
Yeah.
Do you remember that night?
I remember, yeah.
I walked in, I'm like, this is the most legendary table in aviation ever. It was really special.
One of the things about aviation, a lot of good people. Everybody's pretty honest, because if you're not honest flying with yourself, you get in trouble, you know. So I can't speak enough about how good I think people are with the aviation background.
Aviators, welcome to the Flight Club podcast. I'm your host, Jason Middleton. I'm a pilot, I'm an aviation entrepreneur, and a huge fan of the people that make up our diverse aviation community. Today's guest on Flight Club is truly a living legend of aviation. He's logged more flight hours than just about any other aviator on the planet. He's flown more than 300 different aircraft and holds 32 type ratings. He was an airline captain, he was a military aviator, he was an experimental test pilot, he was an air race champion, a world record setter, and he pioneered aviation cinematography. And he basically started the private jet business west of the Mississippi. Aviators, welcome the legend himself, Mr. Clay Lacy.
Thank you.
Clay, thank you so much for doing this. This is a really huge honor for me. Just a little story to kick us off here. I'm in the same business as Clay Lacy Aviation. I have an aircraft management company. And I met you when I started my company 16 years ago at Flying Colors in Santa Maria. You were having one of your airplanes painted by Teresa. And I was having an airplane painted out there too. And I don't know if you remember, but you and I stood in the hangar and talked for about an hour. And it was a really, right when I was starting my company. And you were a really huge inspiration for me. And, growing up in the business and watching what you've done, in addition to all the things you've done in your entire career, but what you've built in business has been a huge inspiration for me and a lot of other aviation entrepreneurs. So I just wanted to say that and thank you very much for just being who you are.
Thank you.
But today we want to learn about Clay Lacy. You're a legend. You've done just about everything you can possibly think of in aviation. One of the things that I've observed about you and reading about you and learning about you and being around your world over the years is you're truly, truly passionate about aviation. You've had a lot of businesses in aviation, but at the core of it, you've always been just absolutely passionate about aviation. And can you talk a little bit about where that first came from in the early days, or that passion, because it started at a very, very young age for you?
Well, I grew up in Wichita, Kansas, which is, there's a lot of airplanes around there.
Yeah.
I first became interested when Continental Airlines used to fly Lockheed Lodestar over town every day coming in from Denver. I got my first airplane ride I was about 7 years old, and looked down at the houses and things and was hooked on it. You could get a ride for $3 and Piper Cub for 15 minutes, and I would do that every now and then. My grandmother had a farm outside of Wichita, 3 miles from town. A guy started bringing in surplus airplanes. The war wasn't over in 1944. They were starting to sell off certain surplus airplanes, trainers and the things. I was building model airplanes. I knew quite a bit about aviation. And I started going over there and hanging around and helping him. And after I got to know him better, one day he said, the war is going to get over here, and he said they're going to have this GI flight training. He said, I would want to get an airport. You think your grandmother would be interested in having an airport on her farm? Oh. I set up a meeting. We met for about 2 or 3 hours, and she'd never flown before, but she knew how bad I wanted to fly and how interested I was in airplanes. So then the meeting she basically told him, okay, we'll work out an arrangement here. And within 3 weeks, the airplanes were landing on the farm.
They built a grass strip there?
Yeah.
Okay.
Grass strip. And he was a real good guy. His name was Orville Sanders. They put the airport in. I started working there during the summer. I was 12 years old. They gave me an opportunity. At first, we didn't have fuel on the farm for several months. So fly over to another airport to get gas in airplanes. I get to fly with it all the time. So I was hooked on it, on aviation. I lied about my age to get my student permit. 2 years younger than I was supposed to.
I heard rumors about this, so you're confirming the rumors. Thank you very much.
So by the time I was 19 years old, I had over 1,000 hours. And someone showed me an ad. A mechanic who worked at the airport. United Airlines was advertising for pilots. It said right on there you had to be 21.
Mm-hmm.
And I was 19, but my pilot license said I was 21.
Yeah.
So I flew out to Denver with one of my students, a doctor, a friend of mine, that we flew his airplane out there. And I took an interview, my first interview. About 2 weeks later, I got called up for a second interview. Got hired by Christmas time, 1951.
What was the interview process back then? Did you have to fly an airplane in the interview, or is it all just
no, it's just interview, just to answer questions.
Yeah. Review your logbooks and
yeah.
So then you got hired by December?
It was to start in January.
Okay.
Which I did and went to Denver. Went through pilot training about 2 months.
Mm-hmm.
Most of the guys in my class, about 21 guys in my class, I believe, were from Chicago or New York area.
Okay.
When it came time to choose where we were going to go, I was a junior person to choose. When it got to me, I had my choice. They all chose the East Coast.
Yeah.
I had my choice of L.A. or San Francisco.
Oh, okay.
So I chose L.A.
Yeah, smart.
And I've been to California before, flying,
Yeah.
Across countries. But so I came out, I think it was March 52. They were a really good company for me.
What airframe, what aircraft did you fly? What was that first aircraft you got trained on?
DC-3.
DC-3. Okay. That's a good airplane.
Yeah.
It's a really good airplane. So that was based in LA. You came out and started flying the DC-3. What was your route? What was your routes? Where would you go?
My first trip was San Francisco, but with a stop at Santa Barbara for first landing. And then the second landing was Monterey, I think, or Salinas.
Oh, okay.
And then San Francisco. Flew 2 years. I'd never been in the military. And the draft board was after me. The draft board in Wichita, I got to know the guy who ran it, and he was giving me deferments to see if the airline can give me a deferment.
Okay.
But they didn't. So I went in the Air Force in cadets in January of 54.
Mm-hmm.
Went through pilot training class 55K, it was called.
Yeah. And was that in the Sabre jet? Is that what you flew?
Yeah, later. That's what I graduated in.
Okay.
So I was stationed in several different places in Georgia and first San Antonio, in Bainbridge, Georgia, in Greenville, Mississippi, in Del Rio, Texas, then Nellis.
Yeah.
And came back to the guard, back to United. It was gone 20 months. We was very active in the guard then, and they unfortunately had several accidents. They were about to disband the squadron.
Or because of accidents?
They had a terrible accident record.
Oh,
terrible.
really? Why was that?
Take an airplane and go across country to wherever they want to go, and guys are getting in trouble, primarily getting any instrument conditions.
Yeah.
Well, I knew a lot about instrument training, flying from United, and I was really into it. And shortly after getting the guard, they had a big check because of the accidents. Our Air Force advisor, who didn't care for airline pilots particularly, was smart enough to know that I knew more about instrument flying. And he chose me to.
That was smart. That was smart of him.
Yeah, right. When we got through with the evaluation, went on for a few days, did the evaluation on instrument flying. He had only flown with me. The guy was smart enough to choose me for.
Yeah.
Obviously, a big problem was instrument flying.
Yeah.
The guard. He said the grading system was 1 being the best, I think, through 4, 5. And,
five is failing.
Yeah.
5 is failing, okay.
Yeah, 5, you were kind of out. You really gave me a glowing report. And he said in his debriefing, I was the only person who flown. They had another guy that wanted to, but they made him unavailable. So the commanding general of the California Guard was there, General Shoup. And after this guy left, the meeting was over. They grabbed me and told me they'd like to put me in charge of instrument flying. So that started a great career for me in the Air Guard.
Yeah. Did you stay in the Air Guard during your whole career?
No, I was in a state in 7 years.
Okay. And that was was that based in Van Nuys? Is that where the Air National Guard was in? Okay.
Van Nuys.
Yep. Where was that? Where are they out on the field now? If you were to, what FBO would they have been at?
Well, they were on the west side of the airport, the north end, on Roscoe.
Okay.
Up near Roscoe on Balboa.
Got it. Okay. Back in that corner. Okay.
Yeah. Pretty big guard was then, but they had 55 F-86s.
Oh, wow.
And 2 squadrons.
Yeah.
Plus the Phoenix Guard was under Van Nuys at the same time.
Yeah.
So I got to be friends with Barry Goldwater, who was from Arizona.
Yeah.
It was a great time.
Wow. And then and is that the same, because didn't you get involved in Lear around that same time?
Well, that was in 50 when I got in the Guard with 55.
Okay.
There was a guy in the Guard named Jack Conroy.
Uh-huh.
He was a real character, interesting guy, and he built the guppies, pregnant guppies to carry things for NASA, you know.
Yeah.
I'd been in the Guard about 2 weeks, and he knew about me, and in fact, I had quite a bit of flying time, 3,000 hours or so.
Yeah.
He said, let's go down to the Sky Trails at the restaurant of Van Nuys Airport. I want to talk to you. So we became great friends, Jack and I, a good guy. I made the first flight on a pregnant guppy with him.
Oh, wow. Now, where were they building those?
We built the first as Van Nuys.
Did they? Okay. I didn't know that.
Yeah. Outdoors, you know, and had a facility there that on-mark engineering,
Yeah.
rebuilding B-26s.
Okay. That was the platform that they built that got beyond the B-26?
No, the Guppy was built around a Boeing Stratocruiser.
Oh, got it. Okay.
And there was some coming up available surplus.
Mm-hmm.
So he used that.
Got it.
Jack Conroy, he knew everybody in town.
Mm-hmm.
First month I knew him, I met Chief Test Pilot Lockheed for North American, introduced me to all kind of people.
So that meeting with Jack sounds like it was a little bit of a turning point for you personally.
Oh yeah.
In your career and like the people you were connecting with.
Yeah.
That's cool.
One of the first people I met was Al Paulson, who later owned Gulfstream.
Yeah.
But I met him, then he'd just been a flight engineer for TWA and just left a year before and started his own business, surplus engine parts and things.
Yeah.
And he did buy surplus engines and tear them down and just sell the parts.
Mm-hmm.
And the company was called California Aeromotive. He is a real hustler. He was a good guy.
Yeah. He was, Alan, he was probably the first really successful person in like the corporate aviation world, would you say? Like very big business guy, Alan.
Yeah. Well, I knew Bill Lair, and I had an interest in B-51. And I took Alan in the 51 he had, and we went back to Wichita to introduce him to Bill Lair. They were just building the first Lair.
Yep.
And he made Al the distributor in the 11 Western states. We got checked out in the Lear real early, one of the first people. I ran a distributorship, Al engine parts.
Yeah.
But it was a great time.
I mean, at that time in your life, Clay, you were, let me get this, you're still working at United Airlines, the captain. You're still in the Air National Guard.
Yeah.
You were, you met Jack and you were networking with all these aviation people, meeting the right people. And then you started a business distributing airplanes. You kind of brought the Lear to.
First, though, I got Al together with Bill there.
Yeah.
He gave us the 11 Western States distributorship.
Yeah.
Very busy, and flying View 92, but
you were a very, very busy guy.
And
I think you were like, I think you were also a very big hustler back then.
Oh,
That's a lot. Let me ask you a question. So one of the things that is like the group of aviators you're talking about, they had a passion for aviation, but they're also business people. They saw opportunities, and the Lear distribution deal that you worked with Alan, that was your first venture into the business side of it.
Right.
Is that correct? But one of the things you said early on in our discussion was when you were, I think, 12 years old, you connected your grandma with the guy that wanted to put a strip in.
Airport.
I mean, that's pretty entrepreneurial at 12 years old.
Yeah.
You were brokering an airport deal.
Yeah.
I just like when you said that, and I'm like, that is amazing. I have a 12-year-old and he can barely put his shoes on.
Yeah.
So this is your first kind of venture into the business side of it. Did you always see little things in the business? Because you've done a lot in business, which I want to get into, but that being an aviator and a pilot and then the business side of it, what kind of drew you in with that? Was it opportunistic, or did you always want to be more in the industry, do more business type stuff?
Well, I want to be in it, but meeting Bill there, I had met him before. He went to Switzerland to build a Lear. He bought a factory in Switzerland.
Oh, I didn't know they built. I thought they built them in Wichita.
I did, but he bought a factory in Switzerland and was building a fighter plane, jet fighter plane.
Got it.
But then the people were too slow there for him. So one day he called me and said, "Hey, I'm moving to your hometown." I said, "Yeah." He said, "Wichita." I said, "Why you choose Wichita?" He said, "Can you think of any place I can steal more engineers and people that know about airplanes?" So I went back there and visited him. He got the city to build a factory for him.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
His son, it's not how I met Bill. I met Bill at Santa Monica Airport. He had a company there.
Okay.
But his son was the guard, an Air National Guard unit I was in Van Nuys.
Yeah.
He was very nice to me, very nice guy.
The Cessna was there. Was Beechcraft in Wichita at that time as well? Okay.
Oh, yeah. Wichita had built more airplanes than any place in the world.
Yeah.
Boeing was there.
Oh, Boeing was building.
Boeing bought Stearman Airplane Company.
Yes.
Turned it into Boeing.
Yep.
During the war, they built the B-17s there, and after the war, B-29s, you know. It was big. Yeah. And so anyway, that's how I got started flying.
Nice. When you brought when you worked the deal out with you and Alan on the Lears, when is the first Lear that you brought? What was your plan to bring the airplanes here and sell them to clients, and then you were going to manage them? How was that going to work?
No, we were just selling.
Got it.
We started selling some. I brought the first one there in 1964, and I think November of 64. And the first model we sold was, they called it in 1965 Lear. And we did well.
What did that airplane sell for back then?
$495,000.
Wow.
And when they built the 24, it went to $545.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
And I helped Bill, as I had been involved throughout Paulson, selling Frank Sinatra the Martin 404 earlier, and I sold Sinatra Lear.
This airplane still exists, Sinatra's Lear 24, right? Somebody was saying that it was found in a hangar somewhere.
Yeah, I hear it was in Florida.
Okay, yeah. And now, how would that work? So, because you can't just sell an airplane to Frank Sinatra and he's going to fly it. You got to get a pilot, 2 pilots. And how did you guys do that? Did you
sold
mentor?
Sinatra. I've been involved selling him a Martin 404 earlier.
Yeah.
And his pilot was an airline pilot.
Okay.
Don Lieto was his name. I checked him out in the Lear, serial number 21, I think.
Oh, serial number 21. Got it.
He got a lot of publicity for the Lear because he was flying all over.
Yeah.
With his Rat Pack guys and everybody knew they were Dean Martin.
And yeah, I'm assuming you met all those guys and spent time with that whole group when you're around these airplanes. What was that like? What was that part of your life like? Tell me about that.
Well, it was interesting. I wasn't part of the Rat Pack, but I knew.
But I mean, if you think about the discussion we've had so far, Clay, you went from a farm boy from Wichita, Kansas, and now you're selling private jets to the Rat Pack, and the most famous people in the world at the time in Hollywood.
Yeah, and
you're hanging out with them. That's a pretty cool story.
Yeah, I was lucky. But anyway, I kept working for United all this time too. I was flying every day, and usually several times a day, I built up flight time. I wasn't particularly interested in building up flight time.
Yeah.
But I was a good pilot. It just came natural. And I got to fly and important people, Governor Ronald Reagan, and
Uh,
before president.
yeah.
I had a real interesting life, primarily because of the Learjets and the people I met.
Yeah. That was sort of the springboard to private aviation.
Oh,
That
yeah.
aircraft was pioneering.
Yeah, it was fun.
Yeah. So you would go fly for United Airlines all day. And then if you needed to go fly a Lear or show somebody an airplane, or you'd run over to Van Nuys. Was everything going on out of Van Nuys?
Yeah.
With the jet business?
Right.
Okay. So you'd finish your flight from LA, jump over the hill, and then go take somebody up in the Lear.
Yeah. It was unbelievable.
That's why you have over 50,000 hours of flying, Clay.
Yeah, right.
That's pretty exceptional. Some of the stuff you did at United, I wanted to ask you about. So you did you've done so many really interesting flights, but there's some ones that I really wanted to ask you about. The Friendship One project you guys did at United Airlines, where you flew the 747 around the planet for charity. I thought that was a pretty interesting story. Can you tell me about that one?
Yeah, I got involved with non-airline projects more than anyone ever did, and got to fly all around the world 4 times with United, or 5 times.
Wow.
Up over the North Pole and all kind of stuff. Like I said, I was busy. Looking back, I don't know how. Did all the things.
Yeah.
I did,
You had such a strong passion for it. When you really, really, there's very few people on earth that have that strong of a passion that can last so many years. You might have a passion for something for a while, but from the time you were a little kid, 5 years old until today, it's been constant in your life. And that's just such an impressive connection with something, and you are synonymous with aviation. And, us, coming up in the industry have, it's like, that's, I've never been in an airline. I've always worked in the corporate side of aviation, and understanding what has gone on with Clay Lacy Aviation and all that has just been a big part of me growing up in aviation, and a lot of my friends and the people. One of the things, the network of friends, you've built this amazing network of friends over the years. And this is one of the things I talk about in my business and with all my aviation friends. Just be friends with people, get to know people. This this industry is driven by relationships.
Oh yeah.
100%. And you've done that masterfully. And I think it's just because you're such a good human and a passionate aviator, people are gravitated towards you. So I can't, I always emphasize that so much. This is about relationships.
Yeah, I agree.
Yeah. Do you want to talk about the movie industry a little bit?
Yeah. The Lear was the first civilian airplane around that could chase a jet airliner, for photography.
Yeah.
I got into photography, aerial photography early on.
Yeah. How did you come up with that? Because you developed a whole system for it. The camera systems, you created the Astrovision system and then mounted it to an airplane. And that's pretty wild stuff. How did you come up with that?
Well, the first several years was shooting out the window, with camera. And we needed a better system.
Mm.
I heard about a periscope. It was built for the VC-10 airplane to stick out of the side like the engines, because they had a regulation that you had to be able to observe the engines on a VC-10 from the back.
Oh, okay.
Couldn't see them.
Yeah.
So they built these periscopes, and they could stick out the side like the engine. I knew a couple of guys were building helicopter mounts for camera work.
Yeah.
They were English guys, and they knew about this system. They built it up better than a Learjet with a tube, at the bottom, one at the bottom, one at the top. Revolutionized photography. You rotate 360 degrees.
Yeah. And was that controlled from a console in the cabin? They were controlling it?
A cameraman in the back.
In the back, okay.
Yeah, he had a TV monitor.
Got it, okay.
Control. It was really good. It was good that I could have done it if I didn't have my guard background. Formation.
For formation flying, yeah.
It just revolutionized air photography, it just changed completely.
Well, you've shot the biggest movies on the planet over your career.
Yeah.
It introduced, there's a thing, like you did the first Top Gun movie, and if you look at the after the release of the first Top Gun movie, we had a big deficit of pilots in the industry. I don't know if you've seen this statistic. They call it the Top Gun effect. And as soon as Top Gun came out, there was a ton of new kids that started to learn how to fly. And then we had all these pilots available years after that movie came out.
Yeah.
And the exact same thing is happening right now with the release of the second Top Gun movie. Tons and tons, all the schools are full of new students. Yeah. And they're calling it the Top Gun effect because it just introduces so many people to aviation in such a impactful way. So getting those shots was the thing back then.
Yeah.
How was it flying next to the F-18s when you were in the Lear? How close would you guys get?
Well, close at times, The one thing we didn't have was a telephoto lens.
Oh, yeah. Yeah.
Side to move airplane in and out. We could change lenses, one change.
Yeah.
You go from a 50 millimeter to a 70 millimeter lens.
Got it.
But I had to position the airplane for every shot,
Yeah.
And it was interesting.
You had to learn. So now you're an aviator. You have all these tools on the aviation side. You guys built this camera system, but now you have to learn filming, like framing. You have to, as a pilot, I'm sure you need to hey, they need this shot. So you've got to put the airplane here to get the framed. There's a lot. You must have learned a lot about just filming in those early days too.
Yeah, quite a bit.
Yeah. What was your favorite film to work on?
6 films were major films.
Yeah.
And they were primarily with military airplanes. But my main business, photo business, was airlines, doing commercials.
Okay.
That's how it all really got started.
So was United Airlines one of your customers?
Yeah, they were.
Yeah. And you were still flying for them at this time, right? So you've started multiple businesses while flying for United Airlines
right
at this time. Oh my God, they were amazing.
A great company for me.
Yeah, what an amazing. If I may, I wanted to ask you a question about something that happened at United Airlines when the union striked, when they had a strike at the airline at United, and you chose to fly. Was it because you wanted to support the airline, or you just wanted to fly? I know you were super busy.
No, I wanted to support the airlines.
Yeah.
And I didn't agree with the strike.
Okay.
I didn't know why they were striking.
Yeah.
I was supporting the airline.
I appreciate that. Being in the business, it's hard. Things are hard, and we need support. When our people need to support us, and we need to support our people.
Yeah.
So I appreciate that.
But I didn't. I wasn't real involved with the union.
Yeah.
And it just seemed the right thing to do for me.
Yeah. So at this point, you have your film business, you have the Lear dealership, you're flying for United Airlines. I think you're still in the National Guard, flying a little bit. When did proper Clay Lacy Aviation begin?
1969.
And was that because of the Lear?
Yeah.
And then when did it evolve into managing airplanes and maintenance facilities and hangars? And it's a huge company today.
I started my business in 1969. But just kept growing,
Yeah.
I built my facility, my FBO, which was pretty big.
Yeah.
I used to build it in 1980. I'd been in business for 10 years.
Okay.
And in rental area.
Yeah.
So in 1980, I built my own facility.
Okay. Is that about the same time you started chartering aircraft as well?
Oh, we were in charter before that.
Oh, you were? Okay.
Yeah, we started running charter business. It got started in 69, I think.
Oh, okay. What was the Lear when that first came out? Was that a really popular charter aircraft?
Lear.
Yeah.
Oh yeah. I had the first charter company on the West Coast. You go airline speed.
Yeah.
Lear was a great little plane, great plane. Like in 1965, I flew a round trip to New York with Jack Conroy.
Yeah.
And Jack, I took him as co-pilot. He was the first guy to fly coast to coast and back in the same day in an F-86.
Could he do that in one stop?
No, he did 2 stops.
2? Okay.
In the Lear, we did it 1 stop.
Salina?
Lear 23.
You stop in Salina? Where'd you guys stop?
Wichita.
Oh, you stopped in Wichita?
Going over in Tulsa, coming back.
Yeah.
We're in New York in less than 5 hours, including a stop.
Really?
Coming back was a little bit more wind the other way. But we made the round trip. We took 3 of Jack Conroy's kids along.
Oh, cool.
And they had little league baseball games at night, at 6 o'clock. And Conroy, he was a good PR guy. He had his kids out practicing baseball on a landing. We were on the ground 15 minutes in Tulsa on the way back. He had about there practicing for the baseball game at 6 o'clock in Los Angeles.
Oh my God. He made it? They made the game?
Oh, yeah.
Oh, wow. Hey, that's the power of private aviation.
Oh, yeah.
That's why we exist. When did you I know you've had a relationship, a long-term relationship with Alan Paulson. When did Gulfstream come into your life? Like, tell me about because you have a lot of experience in Gulfstreams, and I'm a Gulfstream guy.
Yeah.
I'm a G550 pilot. I love it. It's my favorite airplane. So I wanted to talk to you a little bit about Gulfstream. And when did that begin? Because
Well, Al Paulson was he really got into through me. He started dealing in airplanes.
Mm-hmm.
Al bought the factory. I was staying back, Lear to New York to talk to Grumman when they wanted to sell it. Idi Amin in Africa, Gulfstream has sold 2 or 3 airplanes.
Okay.
He got in political trouble, I don't remember what.
Oh, he did?
Yeah. So Grumman wanted to get out of Gulfstream. Al was buying Air Commander in Oklahoma City.
Okay.
And the guy calls him on the phone out of the blue, and he says, "Hey, I see you're buying Air Commander." And he was going through him in like 2 weeks or something. And he said, "Yeah." He said, "How would you like to buy Gulfstream?" I was supposed to, "That'd be great." But he said, "I'm sure I can't raise that much money." And he said, "Well, if you're interested, come back this weekend and talk to me." So I gave Al a Lear to go back to New York. I kind of made a tentative deal that we would buy Gulfstream.
Wow.
$70 million, as I remember.
Jeez. Yeah.
The whole company.
One airplane costs that much now.
Oh, yeah. Yeah. The whole company. And they've had, after he bought it, it flew the first G3.
Okay. Oh, so they were producing the G3 by then.
Yeah.
And this has got it. So this is early 80s, late 70s, early 80s.
Early 80s, I think.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah, about 2 weeks after he bought it, they made the first flight on a G3. I was back there, flew it.
You got to fly the G3 that early when they were doing flight testing on it?
Fly.
Yeah. Wow.
But what happened was they flew it, and Alice said, "How'd it go?" And great, the test pilots gave out, and the director of flight operations glowing report on an airplane. Later that day, he asked the chief pilot to take me up and let me fly. And they what? They didn't realize it really made a change when it sold the company to Al, that he made quick decisions on things. And he said, "We just flew the first flight." He said, "Yeah, well, you tell me it's great. So what's the problem?"
So he was wanting you to fly the airplane so he could get the truth, right?
Yeah. Anyway, Al was a real going guy. He was the most interesting person I've ever known.
Yeah.
He made quick decisions and they were almost always right.
Yeah.
And he wanted everything to be right on the airplane. He wasn't trying to cut any corners at all.
Yeah.
But he was an amazing guy. Real amazing.
You guys spent a lot of time together.
Oh, yeah.
Air racing and you've done a lot of.
Oh, I knew Al. I met Al in 1955.
Yeah.
Right after I came back from pilot training in the Air Force. So Jack Conroy introduced me in 30 days. The first 30 days, I was back from Air Force pilot training. Conroy introduced me to half the people in town in aviation.
Yeah. You became immediate friends right away?
Oh, yeah.
He was quite the aviator as well. Air races.
Oh, yeah, for sure.
Yeah. You guys raced quite a few air races together, right?
No, he didn't race.
Oh, he didn't?
No.
Oh. I thought you guys did a few races together, but I guess I was wrong about that.
Oh, I forget. But not in Reno,
Yeah, the point to point, like not the cross country races, I thought, but
yeah, we did Reno. That.
Yeah. Yeah. Was he fun to fly with?
Oh, yeah, he was a good guy. He'd been in Air Force pilot World War II.
Yeah.
Got shot down in the B-17. When he came up with the guppies, there was a good move. NASA needed it to carry big parts and revolutionized air transportation for big parts.
So that first Gulfstream flight, when you went and flew it, what did you think? You're coming out, you've flown Lears and some airliners. What did you think of the Gulfstream?
Well, I thought it was a great airplane. After Al bought the factory, he wanted to get a rating in it.
Yeah.
And he had me come back and go to training with him. Mm. So he got so damn busy after 3 days, he wasn't about to go through the whole course.
Yeah.
But anyway, I say they got my rating the next few days.
Yeah.
They were building a G3, and then I bought a G2.
Oh.
A used G2. It was a really nice one.
Yeah.
But I was never real involved with the Gulfstream.
Yeah.
The factory.
Right.
But it was good friends with Al.
Yeah.
I heard about him all the time, and he called me sometimes every day and asked me my opinion on something,
Oh, that's good.
Fun times.
Yeah. Did you guys sell the Gulfstreams as well in addition to the Lears from the factory? Did you ever do that?
No, never a dealer for a Gulfstream.
Got it.
But I sold airplanes.
Yeah. I'm a big fan of the Gulfstream product. I was at Recurrent last week at the new 550 Sim Mountain.
Really?
Yeah. So, yeah.
Where?
In Vegas. At the new CAE out in Vegas. Great facility.
Really?
Yeah, it's really nice. Yeah. Good, really good instructors, brand new facility, new simulator. It's really nice.
Really?
Yeah.
Good.
I love going to simulator training.
Yeah.
I really enjoy it. So I spend, I try and I don't fly very much anymore since, I'm busy running my business. And so I really try, when I go to school, I really try and really learn a lot, spend time there. So,
Yeah. Great.
yeah. What was the most fun airplane? Was it the P-51? What was your favorite airplane to just go fly for fun?
Well, I would say the F-86
Oh.
was a great airplane.
Okay. Nice.
And that was a good airplane.
Yeah.
Looking back on it, like Bob Over
Yep.
thought it was the best airplane he ever flew.
Oh, he did. Okay. You've known Bob for a long time.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, I knew Bob from the beginning of the Reno Air Races.
Okay. Did you guys compete in the same class?
Well, I had met Bob before. First race in 1964.
Mm-hmm.
They had him in charge of it,
Oh, okay.
But he was a really good guy. I feel really fortunate as the great people I met in aviation.
So there was a night I had the first time I ever went to the Living Legends dinner in Beverly Hills. I think this is probably 10 years ago, maybe longer. And they had the banquet and then they had the after party. And I walked into the after party and there was a table sitting in the middle of the room. And at that table was you, Bob Hoover, Neil Armstrong, Jim Lovell, and Harrison Ford.
Yeah.
Do you remember that night?
Yeah, I remember, yeah.
Yeah, I walked in, I'm like, this is the most legendary table in aviation ever. It was really special.
Yeah.
And you guys are all just drinking, telling stories and laughing, and it was really beautiful. I just sat and watched. It was a really fun night.
Yeah, well, they were good guys. One of the things about aviation, a lot of good people in aviation, everybody's pretty honest, because if you're not honest to flying with yourself, you get in trouble, So I can't speak enough about how good I think people are with the aviation background. We're really into it.
I'm a huge people person, and I respect, all the people in our industry and everyone. It's such a great group of people, and it's such a pleasure working in the industry. And I feel very grateful that I've been allowed to have a career doing this.
Yeah, great.
Yeah, and I want to continue doing it for a long time, and it's all because of the people.
Yeah.
It's really good people. What you said about being honest, I think, is really important. Being honest with yourself and the people you fly with.
Yeah.
As long as you're on, that keeps you safe too. Safety is when I always talk about safety, I kind of look at two things. You have to have the humility to recognize your limits, but you also have to have a little bit of ego to get the job done.
Yeah.
And I think aviators have mastered that kind of balance of ego and humility.
Yeah.
And that group of people you were sitting with at that table that night, including Harrison Ford, the actor.
Yeah.
Yeah.
A lot of good people I met through aviation. A lot.
Yeah. You've had a very, what a wonderful career, Clay. When you look back at your life and your career, what do you feel? How does that make you feel for all the things you've accomplished and the people that you've helped, the people that you've become friends with? And it's such a lot to consider. How do you when you reflect back, how do you feel about that?
Well, I feel good about it. I'm glad I was in aviation. Knew so many wonderful people through aviation. It was interesting life because the aviation, I was there early enough to see a lot of changes, and all for the better.
Mm-hmm.
Aviation has always had thinkers in it, from day one. They had to innovate how to improve airplanes, and
Yeah.
good people.
It's interesting. I mean, you've seen the gamut when you first started flying those Cubs back in Wichita. And then today with the new G700 and the Global 70, all these like very, very modern airplanes, the airliners that are flying today, do you think the pilots back then were different than the pilots today? Do you think the mindset has changed with just the improvement of, I mean, airplanes, I always talk about like this with my kids, like back in the pre-50s, airplanes were trying to kill us. It was the aviator's job to keep them from not.
Yeah.
And now airplanes are trying to keep us alive, you know, and they're trying to protect us from the pilots. Do you think the aviators had a different mindset back then when you went to fly an airplane that like, this is actually not very safe, this airplane, compared to what we have today?
Well, yeah, of course, we didn't think so. We thought they were safe, and they were if you handled them right, didn't do anything crazy.
Yeah.
I feel so lucky to have been in aviation. Generally speaking, the greatest people I've ever known involved with aviation. They're the most honest people. They have an opportunity to be thinkers.
Yeah.
What do you think about the people in aviation?
That's why I started this podcast. I think we've got such an amazing community of aviators, not only the people in the business, but you have John Travolta on, there's a picture of you and John Travolta there, and all the people there. Just it's a community of like-minded people.
Yeah.
That it doesn't matter what walk of life you're from, what you do for a living, whether you're an airline pilot or a corporate pilot or you are an actor. It's in aviation. It's such a cool bond, and that's why I started this podcast, because I want to interview all the people, and I'm a huge fan of all these people, like I say in the title. So I fully agree, and it's something that I'm doing this, Clay, because I don't make any money doing this. This is just a passion for me, and I want to have discussions like we're having today with aviators, with fellow aviators. So I really appreciate you. I know we've had almost an hour and a half long discussion here. I know it's been a lot of your time, and you've had a life that is going to be legendary, and it's going to live on, and people are going to look to you and what you've done in aviation, Clay, and where you've gone from the early days of, dirt runways and Piper Cubs to the highest tech of the highest tech. And you've been a pioneer in so many areas, and you've given opportunity to so many aviators, and I want to thank you from the bottom of my heart. And, you've led a wonderful life, and you've set a wonderful example, and, you've just been a huge leader in our industry. And I want to thank you very much.
Well, thank you. Thank you. We've both been lucky to be in aviation.
Yeah.
Instrument checks and stuff, and phone formation with him. I always met somebody, knew someone at the top of the world that loved aviation.
Yeah. I was at a wedding here at your house for Mark Nardi Day and Karen, for Mark and Karen. And you had friends fly over a formation flight.
Yeah.
After the wedding. But after that, they went and parked their airplanes, and they came back here to eat and hang out. That's what it's about.
Yeah.
I thought that was pretty cool. I had to leave. I missed the after party. Awesome. Is there anything else you want to talk about, Clay?
No, thank you very much. It's been a good life. Only 22,500 hours airline with the United, retired #1 seniority.
Wow.
Every day of aviation has been fun, worthwhile.
Yeah.
And I think it played a really important part of the world now.
Yeah.
And it's like where we'd be if there were no airplanes.
I know. We'd be stuck. I had a question that popped up. Have you flown more days in your life than not? So if you look at your lifetime, have you been in the air more days than you've not been in the air? At least one flight.
I think so. Yeah, I used to fly.
Yeah.
Every day.
Yeah.
I haven't flown much the last 8 years.
No.
I had a fall and he screwed me up.
Yeah.
Walking in the mountains. So flying is a lot better than even walking.
Right. As long as you strap yourself in the airplane, you should be okay.
Right.
Thank you so much.
Thank you.
Thanks for watching this episode of the Flight Club podcast. Please subscribe to the show, leave a comment below, and follow us on Instagram at Flight Club Pod. We'll see you next time.